to me, the squad looks solid on paper. We got to see how they're going to perform on the field.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Straight Bat with Gulf News and Mr. Cricket UAE. That is Anis Sajan. Today, we will discuss the Indian team selection for the T20 World Cup that's starting in the UAE in October, that is October 17th. I'm Shyam Krishna, and with me is Gautam Bhattacharya, Senior Associate Editor, and as a cricket enthusiast, Sahil Sajan. Before we get going, let's have a word from Mr. Cricket, Anis Sajan.
Thank you, Shyam. Good to have you guys once again. After a long time, we are connecting. Hello, Gautam. Hello, Sahil. The World Cup squad, as you said, has been announced. A couple of surprises for me. First and foremost, obviously, I would have preferred rather the exclusion of Deepak Char, where they have kept him in the reserve. I would have preferred him in the playing 11 because India have gone only with 3 seamers. Okay, they are thinking Hardik Pandya is going to bowl, but I sincerely would have preferred him in the main 15. And second, I believe India has gone with an extra spinner. They have picked up 5 spinners and just 3 seamers. So this is my worries. Overall, to me, the squad looks solid on paper. We got to see how they're going to perform on the field.
Gautam, what are your thoughts?
Yes, I would partly agree with Anis on that. I mean, you've got 5 spinners, obviously with the UAE wickets in mind. But I think the advantage that they would have is, unlike if the tournament had been held in, some other country where travel would have been an issue, then, it would have been a problem because these guys like Chahar, Shardul Thakur and Shreyas Iyer, all these 3 standbys will actually, they are already in the UAE prepping for the IPL. So they will be there just in case, there is a kind of injury issue or, a COVID issue. That way, it looks okay to me.
Sahil, do you agree with Anis and Gautam on that fact that we will be missing as extra seamer?
First of all, yesterday when the squad had come out, I was like, oh, only 3 steamers and 5 proper spinners. So I was also stunned about it. And personally, I'm also a big fan of Deepak Chahar, and I thought that he would be in the 15-man squad. But, now that's the thing. That's the beauty. Now look at the squad depth of India is so good that unfortunately he could not make it. So in the end, it's okay, I guess, Yes, a big exclusion was Chahal, one of the experienced players now playing, and Varun coming in place of Chahal, which we all are big fans of Varun, all of us, and he's a mystery spinner. So it's a good squad from India, I have to say. No complaints about it at all.
But having said that, it's still bowler heavy, isn't it? We have something like 4 spinners apart from Jadeja, including Jadeja, that makes 6. Does it make sense to have 6 spinners, especially? In fact, what Chetan Sharma went on to add was they expect the wickets in UAE to spin. Do you agree with that, Anis?
Absolutely not. It will spin. The wickets might get tired. But what are you talking about? Are you going to play 4 spinners in a match? You are not playing on a dry wicket where it is a dust bowl. We are talking about pitches in UAE, which has been always good, and fast bowlers. In fact, I know the wickets in Dubai as well as Abu Dhabi, they favor the pacers more than the spinners. Spinners have not done anything extraordinary. So if Chetan Chauhan, the selector, or whosoever has gone in for the selection by backing spin heavy, I have my doubts about it, but we'll have to wait and watch. As I said, on paper, the squad looks solid, but I don't see, you would probably have Jadeja and a couple of spinners playing more, but you can't expect 4 spinners going. You need to have at least 2 seamers going. But my problem is if it is a good track for fast bowlers, then you have to play, you have only 3 seamers what you have in the 15. You can't get your 16th player unless one of the 15th is injured. Those 3 guys in the reserve, rather Shardul as well as Deepak Char, cannot be played till one of the guys is injured. That's the law of ICC.
I think you have a fair point, because given if you look at the IPL 2020, which we saw in the UAE, the Pacers did well. Actually, the Delhi Pacers, is really Nokia, the Mumbai Pacemen, they all did extremely well. And I think you have a very fair point there. Gautam, what do you agree with the fact that the UAE pitches might help the pacers more than the spinners?
Yeah, I mean, there have been a number of occasions where pacers have done the damage. I mean, it was in IPL 2020 when Siraj bowled a couple of deadly spells which paved his way to the squad for Australia. Same with Chaha. So yes, I mean they are definitely one pacer short. I mean, no doubts about it. And as Anish said that only for an injury clause can you look at a Chahar or even a Shardul Thakur for that matter. So yes, I mean I think at this point they are banking on Hardik to bowl 4 overs. I think that could be the only thinking which could have prompted this decision. And if they plan to keep Ashwin doing bowling in the power play, then you see Akshar Patel is one area where you could have thought of accommodating that extra seamer.
Okay, I think we are pretty much fairly on agreement on that part. Let's come back to the batsmen here. And Sahil, what do you think? They have 6 batsmen here. Are you happy with the batting lineup?
Oh, absolutely. I'm very happy with the batting lineup. These are all prestigious players who are playing for the Indian team. So I can have no complaints about the batting lineup because, you got the likes of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul. I hope Surya Kumar Yadav plays, and really he's the main man for India, I feel.
Yes,
T20.
He's your number 3. He's your number 3.
He's the number 3, and he's the main man for India. I got to say, yes, Virat Kohli is there, Rohit Sharma is there, but Surya Kumar Yadav is the key for India this tournament.
Anis, what do you think of the batting lineup? Specifically, I would like your comments on the opening partnership. Do you think Kohli will open or Rahul will open?
I'm glad you asked me this question, Sham. About the opening partner, I definitely do not want to see Virat Kohli opening the innings. See, now, if you talk about Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma opening the innings, both have a same style of playing. The good thing, I would not say good thing. One thing good, I say that I'm glad that they did not include Shikhar Dhawan also in the squad, because the pattern of play of both these 3 players is similar because they take their time. And today T20 has evolved so much that you need to have slam bang players who can capitalize in the power play. So I would prefer KL Rahul to open with Rohit Sharma, followed by, like you guys said, Surya Kumar Yadav and Virat Kohli. And another advantage of keeping Virat Kohli at the back of the innings, because say what, Virat Kohli, as long as he's on the wicket, I would rather say he's in the dugout. The opposition always has a fear that you have one guy who can finish off games. So that's the reason I would like, for 2 reasons. I want KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma to open to make sure that we capitalize on the power play, and Virat Kohli's presence later on will give a little bit of calmness in the dugout.
Gautam, do you subscribe to that theory that it's good to hold Kohli back, or do you want to put him as opener?
Yes. No. Kohli, see, I mean, it was during the international series against England that he suddenly said that I would like to open. But this is a World Cup, and I think when you've got, I mean, you can always have Rohit and KL is obviously it's almost a no-brainer. But at the same time, you can also try Ishan Kishan in that role if you want a left-right combination there. And this guy, I mean, he's 23, but we have seen that, I mean, he's almost a 360-degree player, the kind of cricket or shot making that T20 needs today. Otherwise, Ishan can come in at number 6, possibly after Pant. But number 6 again goes to Hardik Pandya. So you've got a problem of plenty there. I don't see a problem there. But as far as Kohli, yes, he should be held back till 4.
Absolutely agree there. We have more than enough options for the openers, so there is no reason for Kohli to open really. Because normally when Kohli opens is when the situation is desperate or you need a different strategy. But I don't think we have pretty much covered all the bases when it comes to opening. So I myself don't see a reason why Kohli.
Sorry, I wanted to add one thing.
Yes.
I wanted to add one thing where I think I had thought about this way before. Like, India, I feel like, Ishan Kishan is there, Akshar Patel is there. But I think, this one player I really like, in this modern game is Prithvi Shaw. The modern game has changed so much. You've seen how England have that mindset. When Bairstow and Roy come out, they don't care. The first 4 overs, they just go bang, bang. So, and you've seen Prithvi Shaw in the IPL. So that's what I think. Did India miss a trick? I don't know. But he's the guy who's now adapted to this modern game really well.
Okay, so since you have said about Prithvi Shaw, I know Anis talked about Dhawan, but again, I'll put the same question to you, Sahil, simply because Dhawan's, if you look at last IPL or not last IPL, this IPL, which was suspended, the Dhawan had a completely different game or a different approach. It's not the Dhawan which we saw of earlier. So, do you think Dhawan was a bad miss, like along with Shaw?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, Dhawan, it's a good thing that, he's not in the squad. Like, good thing in the sense there are better players now in this T20 format than Dhawan. And Prithvi Shaw, I thought he's now the guy, he may get out for a duck. Don't get me wrong, maybe first ball duck. But there are games where he'll score 30 runs in 12 balls. This is the start you need now in T20 cricket. You cannot score 30 of 22 balls. The game has changed now, unfortunately.
So you would pitch for Shaw ahead of the, say, Dhawan and the other openers.
Yeah.
Are you saying that Shaw would be a best fit to open with Rohit Sharma, right?
This is what assumption I would like. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's leave it there and let's move on to the spinners. Anis, one of the biggest talking points yesterday was Ashwin's return. For 4 years, India didn't need Ashwin. Why now?
Okay, before I come to your question about Ashwin, I believe Satish has also joined. I'm not sure whether you have seen him joining.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yeah. I would like Satish probably
Satish
to come in and talk about his opinion about the batting first.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for being a little late. I would say that we missed a bit of a trick in the batting. I would also like to go back about the team composition. We have Varun Chakravarti and we have Rahul Chahar, both bowl leg spinners. Again, so we wouldn't need so much. It's a luxury there having 2 leg spinners and two are rookies. So that we could have maybe taken Shaw.
Satish, we'll come back to that later. Let's stick with the batting part of it.
Yeah, batting. I think that's where I'm coming from. Like, we missed Shaw.
Yeah, because Varun Chakravarti,
we missed Shaw and Shreyas Iyer. Sorry, go ahead.
You're breaking.
Hello. You're breaking, Sham.
Yeah.
Satish, you are breaking. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, I think the team composition, we could have added 2 batsmen as such because the batting is very thin. If you look at after the top 3, Rohit Sharma, Rahul and Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan are very good batsmen, but the experience is thin. They don't have enough international experience. They have played about 4 matches, 5 matches. So once you have a collapse in the top 3, then I think we'll lose a bit of direction after that. So I think we missed a trick in the batting. We could have augmented the batting a little bit more than the number of bowlers we have had. So I think that I'm not quite satisfied with the batting as such. That's what the picking the teams basically.
Okay. Now let's come back to Ashwin. Anis, what do you think of the 4 year? I mean, after a 4 years hiatus, Ashwin's return to the Indian team.
You know what? Not only as a cricket fan, but as a big fan of Ravichandran Ashwin, I'm glad that finally better senses prevailed. We all know he's come at the expense of Washington Sundar because he's been injured and India doesn't have an off spinner. All the opposition, whether it is Quinton de Kock or many teams have left-handers. So Ashwin will be a good, selection which India has done. And it will give India that firepower. And Ashwin has always done well in the shorter format. It is just that when the Kuldeep Yadav and Chahal had developed, there is where Ashwin lost his place after the 2017 Champions Trophy. Otherwise, you see Ashwin's performances in the IPL. It has been always tremendous, whether he played for Punjab 3 years ago when he was a captain or when he played for Delhi recently, till he got injured and he had to, in fact, leave last year because of the COVID in this family. Ashwin, in fact, is India's ace. We were all debating that why he's not selected in the test match. But finally, I think better sense has prevailed. And I believe he will be one of the strong members in the Indian playing team. This is my call.
Gautam, do you think Ashwin will play all the matches?
Are you asking me this question?
Yeah. Sorry, was that for me?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, I have my doubts about whether he's going to play in all the matches. But the definite plus of playing Ashwin is, I mean, he's your guy, and the job which, I mean, we can't keep comparing him to Washington Sundar, but horses for courses, that bowling in the power play, that he has done so well. And another thing that has worked somehow, Sharma, I mean, last year we watched the IPL 2020 quite closely, all of us. Performances in IPL 2020 has gone in a long way in influencing in some of the choices. Like Varun Chakravarti being one. I mean, if I'm not wrong, he picked up around 24, 25 wickets. I mean, when he came in, people were still, people almost used to have a slight condescending attitude about him. Ashwin did extraordinarily well last time. I mean, he was one of the key figures in taking them up to the final. So this has worked a bit in their favor, but you can only play that many spinners. So I'm not very sure about it. It depends on what kind of combination they're looking at. I would rather see Varun Chakravarti playing all the matches rather than Ashwin, if you ask me, among the spinners.
Oh, okay. Now, Sahil, this is what I think of Ashwin thing. I think Ashwin should play all the matches because he's an impact player. I would even go against Gautam's assessment of Varun Chakravarti, and I would pick Ashwin ahead of Varun Chakravarti. Do you agree with me?
I cannot really comment on it because I'm not sure about
you can.
Everybody has an opinion. You have your own opinion, Sahil.
See, now there's a massive confusion. Now India have taken 5 spinners. Now you see Ashwin can play. Rahul Chahar is coming back from a good form in that Sri Lanka series. Depends now. We can now only judge after the IPL who bowls well in Dubai pitches. So
correct.
Ashwin. It doesn't matter if Ashwin's experience is there or not. There will be Chahar will be in contention. Chakravarti will play every match. I know that for KKR. Let's see what happens. Akshar Patel might also play because he's been outstanding in the IPL. So it's fishy. I mean, let's see what happens.
Okay. Anyway, Sahil didn't take my bait. Satish, are you up for my challenge? I would prefer Ashwin ahead of Varun Chakravarti. You seem to be backing Varun Chakravarti. Every T20 match I have seen, Ashwin has changed the game with 2 quick wickets, and he is kind of match winner as far as I'm concerned. Do you agree with me?
Absolutely, Sham. I coming from Chennai, and we have the good part is Ashwin and I have played in almost 3 or 4 teams in the same teams, club teams also. So I would always back Ashwin. But as Sahil said, a lot of the decision will be made after the IPL. So the form will come into the play as well. But of course, Ashwin is a proven customer. I still remember when he got Chris Gale's wicket in the final against Bangalore, and he cut the throat of Bangalore. And I still remember how competitor he is and how he goes for the kill at the start of the game, and he can give you a couple of wickets early with the new ball if he can bowl. So he's a match winner for sure. But I still would say that maybe the IPL will help in judging who plays the first couple of matches. I'm sure Ashwin is a match winner and he'll play his part. But it will be decided post IPL. I think who will be the core 11 and then who will be in and out. That will be decided after that.
With Gautam backing Varun Chakravarti, I'm not surprised because being a KKR fan. But I also see that Anis is also a huge backer of Varun Chakravarti. Okay, tell us your thoughts.
You know what? I had made this prediction about Varun Chakravarti. Not prediction. It was my wish that Varun Chakravarti is picked for the T20 World Cup, and I'm glad it has come out true. So if you give me a choice to pick between Ashwin, if there is a choice between Ashwin and Varun Chakravarti, I would put my both hands and say Varun Chakravarti.
Okay, I remember in your opening comments, you said you would have preferred Chahal to Chahal. Gautam, you agree with that assessment?
Chahal to Chahar, no, I wouldn't really agree to that because last two IPLs I've seen Chahar, carrying the responsibility of Mumbai spin bowling virtually on his shoulders. I mean, this year in the Indian leg of the IPL, if you remember, the Mumbai batting, it was failing to click. They were barely getting to 140, 150. And those Chahar was virtually doing what Rashid Khan used to do for Sunrisers Hyderabad. So I think that has kind of clinched the deal for him, even at the expense of, Chahal. Yeah. So that's a fair call. I mean, he's your best leg spinner at the moment.
Sahil, your call. Chahal or Chahar?
So like I always liked Chahal, but last one or two IPLs, he gets hit a lot. Now every leg spinner gets smacked out of the park a lot. But now I think Rahul Chahar he's proven his point, for Mumbai Indians and for India cricket team also. And I think it's the right choice to bring him on.
Satish, we have seen Chahar do well in IPL 2020 in the UAE, and also he's done had a decent performance in India during the 2021 IPL also. So I would agree with this assessment that Chahar is a better fit than Chahal. Do you agree?
Yeah, Sham, he's a guy who was in form. Of course, that was a few months ago when the IPL was played. Yeah, as Gautam rightly pointed out, he won a few matches for Mumbai this season. So yes, between Chahal and Chahar, I would go with Chahar, who is in form, because I think now Chahal has been because what happens is the familiarity has made him less potent than what he was with the past. So I think Chahar can be a new trump card for us for sure. But again, would we be playing two leg spinners in a match? This is my biggest question. That is where I started with a comment earlier in the sense, why do we need two leg spinners? We won't be playing two leg spinners for sure, because Varun Chakravarti is a mystery spinner who bowls predominantly a leg spin, and then you have Chahar. Will you be playing two spinners other than the other spinners like Jadeja, or you are looking at Ashwin or anybody for that matter? So that's my question.
Okay, before we wind up, we need to address one of the other big talking points in this selection. That is the arrival of Dhoni as an influencer or a mentor. How will it ban on his?
Yes, this addition of MS Dhoni has taken everybody by surprise. In fact, that has been the more talking point than the Ashwin thing. But having added Dhoni in this as a mentor, now we need to define the role what MS Dhoni is going to play. Because you see, we have three strong characters already in the team. In the name of Virat Kohli, we all know how strong an influence character is. Then the head coach Ravi Shastri, who's also been with the team for a long time. And mind you, you also have the vice captain, which is Rohit Sharma, who has won 5 Mumbai IPL titles. So then you're adding another MS Dhoni. So we need to define roles. Okay, all of them love Indian cricket, but we need to define role. What is going to be MS Dhoni's role? Is he going to be the calming effect, which he was when he was playing? Or is he going to be there to assess the pitch and guide what players to be selected? Because too many cooks sometimes spoil the broth. We need to see whether that goes in our favor or against our favor. But as everybody is a Dhoni fan, I'm happy to be seeing here, but I want the roles to be designed. In fact, all 4 of them to be sitting in front of each other and making discussion that this is my role and this is what I need to do.
Can you at least speculate what will be Dhoni's role?
Dhoni is coming in, from what I gather, he's coming in on a short-term basis. For now, it is just this T20 World Cup. Now, he is somebody who is already there. I mean, he had been there till mid-August. It is good that he has agreed to take up this role on at a temporary basis at this point. And one is the freshness. Other thing is possibly if he can add that winning touch. I mean, we'll have to also see that in the ICC tournaments, we have just been falling short under this, Kohli, Shastri combined. be it the 2019 World Cup, be it 2016, the last World T20. So if there is that X factor or the thinking on the feet thing which Dhoni is so good at, if you can provide that input to Virat Kohli, I don't think Ravi Shastri is going to mind about that. And the other thing is, Dhoni is actually acceptable to both Shastri as well as Kohli and as well as Rohit Sharma. I mean, he had been playing with them the other day. I mean, we know what their equation is. He used to be the shadow captain to Kohli, as long as he was around. So for a short time, this is the thing which overseas teams sometimes go for. They tag along Ricky Ponting for a short time during the World Cup, and then possibly Ricky is no longer there. So we can look at this as that kind of an arrangement. It's something new. Why not?
Sahil, I know you're a huge CSK fan, and Dhoni is the CSK captain. I know you will not say anything about him, but let me put this to you. Do we really need Dhoni in the team?
First of all, I'm not a CSK fan. I'm just a Dhoni fan, just to clarify.
Oh, that is
like Dhoni. But it's nothing wrong. This guy, he has a lot of experience, and he's not the type of guy, who will interfere all the time. He's a calm guy, and he's here to mentor. It's all youngsters in the Indian team, all young guys, Chahar, Chakravarti. He's going to mentor these kids. So I think it's a good decision. And, you need a calm guy in the dressing room. So I think it's a good decision by the Indian board.
So Satish, Sahil has played it very diplomatically here, but you are certainly an unvarnished CSK fan. And you've been a cricketer also. So do you think the Dhoni's presence is required in the Indian dressing room?
Yes, Sham. I also agree to Anis's point that too many cooks could spoil the broth. But here, what has happened is they have all been a cohesive unit until recently. So they know each other, what the strengths and weaknesses are, and where the input will come in, and what exactly will be the role also will be defined based on that. And I still feel when this is again, as Sahil rightly pointed out, this is a young team. If you look at, there are many players who are only 4 matches old, or 5 matches old, or 10 matches old. So if you look at 2007, Dhoni showed the world that he could take a young rookie team and still win a trophy. So maybe he comes in with that kind of an input where he will assess each one's role, or he will identify players and then give them a particular role, because he's been there and done that. So I think that could be the role which maybe the Indian team wanted him to play. That he has done over the years. So many players have flourished and developed as a big players under him. So it's a good move in a way. I would say it's a good move. So I have nothing against it. He's a wonderful captain. He's a thinking captain, because if you look at the one move in the 2011 World Cup where he promoted himself up the order ahead of Yuvraj to play Murali, because he has played Murali so many times in the net, so he knows exactly how Murali bowls. So that way, see, these are the small tricks that we need to identify, and I'm sure he will be able to provide these small tips at that right time, at the right occasion.
I would think, my input is, okay, the Dhoni may not be necessarily normally, but in this Indian team, I think he could have a calming influence in the dressing room, simply because you have Virat Kohli and Shastri, very strong characters. So you need somebody with a more calming influence. I think that perhaps Dhoni will provide. And before we wind up, any final thoughts?
I just want to say, like I wanted to start with the same thing, that India has gone more with spin than with pace. And if at all, if India lacks something, it's in the fast bowlers. And I would have definitely would, if they can still change the squad till the 5th of October, if I'm not wrong. I am not sure about what are the clause. Probably Gautam would know what are the clause. But if India gets a chance, I would prefer that India either cut shots one spinner and gets a fast bowler, which has to be for sure Rahul Chahar. He's the guy who's got wickets on regular basis. You give him the new ball, okay, he doesn't bowl well in the death, You give him the new ball and he swings the ball, and he's the man who'll get you wickets. Because if you talk about Bhuvi, Bumrah, they are not the guys who take you early wickets. They are the guys who are specialists, and Bumrah especially bowls in the middle. So if you want early wickets and to strike early, you need a bowler like Rahul Chahar, and he can also, mind you, do something with the bat. So if I had to swap a fast bowler to a fast bowler, if they say no, they want to stick to only 3 fast bowlers, I will put Shami aside and take Chahar.
Deepak Chahar, talking about.
Deepak Chahar.
Yeah. Okay. Gautam, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's spot on, Anis. I would think that Shami would have been better kept aside. And if you are going in with three pacers, get Deepak Chahar in place of him by all means. I mean, Shami has done it. He's coming around from a long test series. He is not getting any younger. But Chahar has, I mean, see, he is the guy who has got the best international figures in T20 cricket for you. I mean, though it was against Bangladesh, and he can bat a bit. So why keep him in the among the standbys when you can't have a like for like replacement unless somebody is injured? And the other thing is, they didn't name a jumbo squad, Satish. I mean, if you had named the biggest squad, then by October 10, that's the cutoff. You could have still gone ahead with the change.
Correct.
So we'll have to see. I mean, the thinking is obviously keeping in mind the UAE conditions have played a lot in their minds. But we have seen so many pace bowlers doing well in the last season in the UAE that we'll have to wait and watch to see if we are missing an additional pace bowler.
Sahil, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I also had said it in the start that I would like to see an extra pacer. And about Mohammad Shami's point, like he was saying, he's now getting younger. Yes, you're right that he's also coming back from a very long test series, but I still believe he's still got it in him for this particular tournament, and he will be a good death bowler for India. But yes, again, the main point was that they're missing one extra pacer. It could have been Deepak Chahar. But nonetheless, this is still a high profile Indian team, so can't complain about it.
With my final thoughts, I feel that we are one batsman short. Either we could have included Shreyas Iyer or the Prithvi Shah as a batsman, a specialist batsman, because the batting depth is a little thin. Though of course everybody is an experienced player like Jadeja, Pandya. You have many all-rounders. I still feel one batsman would have served the team well. Maybe yes. We'll have to wait and see how things pan out. And thank you very much. I think we can wrap up the conversation right now, and it's been a pretty good one.